In the absolute darkness, 3 miles beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean, something moves. Not with the graceful undulation of a dolphin or the powerful thrust of a shark, but with a motion so alien, so fundamentally wrong to our surface-dwelling minds that the scientists who first witnessed it through the porthole of a deep-sea submersible sat in stunned silence for nearly a minute. The creature before them seemed to defy every rule of biology they had spent their careers studying. Its body was transparent, revealing organs that pulsed with bioluminescent light. Its eyes, grotesquely oversized for its skeletal frame, stared forward with an intensity that suggested intelligence or perhaps madness. Long, thread-like appendages trailed behind it, each tipped with what appeared to be tiny fishing lures that glowed in the eternal night. This was not a monster from science fiction. This was real. This was alive. And this was only the beginning of understanding why the deep ocean transforms life into something we can barely recognize as life at all. The question is not whether deep-sea creatures are bizarre. Anyone who has seen photographs of an anglerfish, with its nightmarish teeth and bioluminescent lure dangling before its face like a lantern held by death itself, knows these animals are unlike anything on the surface. The real question, the one that haunts marine biologists and evolutionary scientists, is why? Why does the ocean's depths transform familiar body plans into grotesque caricatures? Why do fish grow transparent skin and elongated fangs? Why do octopuses evolve ear-like fins and gelatinous bodies? Why does descending into the ocean feel less like exploring another part of Earth and more like traveling to another planet entirely? The answer lies not in a single species, but in understanding the invisible hand that sculpts all life in the abyss, a force so powerful, so unrelenting, that it has rewritten the rules of evolution itself. To understand why marine life becomes increasingly bizarre with depth, we must descend into the ocean ourselves, past the sunlit shallows where dolphins play, past the twilight zone where the last rays of light fade into memory, and into the midnight zone where pressure crushes, darkness suffocates, and life survives by abandoning everything we think we know about survival. The ocean is not one world, but many, stacked on top of each other in invisible layers, each with its own rules, its own atmosphere, its own alien ecology. At the surface, life is abundant. Sunlight penetrates the water, feeding microscopic phytoplankton that form the base of a food chain stretching from tiny krill to massive blue whales. Fish here are sleek, fast, colorful. They have evolved to be visible, to attract mates, to warn predators, to blend with coral reefs painted in every color imaginable. Evolution in the sunlit zone favors efficiency, speed, and the kind of beauty humans find familiar. But descend just 200 meters and everything changes. You have entered the twilight zone, where sunlight arrives not as bright rays, but as faint whispers, a dim blue glow that grows fainter with every meter. Fish here begin to look different. Their colors fade, becoming silver, gray, black. Camouflage shifts from blending with colorful reefs to blending with the growing darkness. Eyes begin to enlarge, pupils widening to capture every precious photon of light. The first hints of bioluminescence appear, creatures creating their own light through chemical reactions because the sun's light can no longer be trusted. At 600 meters, sunlight dies completely. You have crossed into the midnight zone, and from here to the ocean floor, no ray of sunlight will ever penetrate. The temperature drops to just above freezing. The pressure increases with every meter. 10 atmospheres at 1,000 meters, 30 atmospheres at 3,000 meters, crushing weights that would instantly kill most surface creatures.
Food becomes scarce. In the sunlit zone, nutrients constantly cycle through the ecosystem. In the midnight zone, food arrives only as marine snow, a constant drift of dead organisms, fecal matter, and organic debris falling from the world above like an endless sparse blizzard of death. This is where life becomes truly bizarre. Because in the midnight zone, every assumption evolution makes at the surface becomes a liability. Being fast requires energy, and energy requires food, and food barely exists. Being colorful serves no purpose when no light exists to reveal color. Having dense bones and thick muscles becomes a death sentence when you need to conserve every calorie just to survive another day. The creatures that thrive here are not the ones that followed the surface rules, they are the ones that threw the rulebook away entirely. Consider the barrel-eye fish, discovered by deep-sea explorers in the waters off California's coast. For decades, scientists examining dead specimens were baffled by its anatomy. The fish appeared to have tubular eyes that pointed upward, fixed in place, unable to move or track prey. This seemed a catastrophic design flaw until 2004, when researchers from the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute captured the first footage of a living barrel-eye fish in its natural habitat. What they discovered redefined their understanding of what was possible in evolutionary adaptation. The fish's head was completely transparent, a dome of clear tissue like a fighter jet's canopy, and inside this living window, the tubular eyes rotated freely, scanning the water above for the silhouettes of prey against the faint light from the surface. The barrel-eye had evolved a transparent skull, not despite the deep ocean's challenges, but because of them. Or consider the gulper eel, a creature that appears to be mostly mouth. Its jaw can unhinge to engulf prey larger than its entire body, its stomach expanding like a grotesque balloon. In a world where you might encounter food once a week, once a month, the ability to eat anything you find, regardless of size, becomes the difference between life and death. The gulper eel's body is not bizarre, it is optimized, perfectly adapted to an environment where every meal might be your last for weeks. The fangtooth fish possesses teeth so large that they cannot fully close its mouth, fangs so long relative to body size that they are the largest teeth of any fish in the ocean proportional to body length. These teeth seem excessive, monstrous even, until you understand that in the deep ocean you do not get second chances. If prey approaches, you must secure it instantly, permanently, with no possibility of escape. The fangtooth's teeth are not weapons of aggression, they are tools of desperation, insurance against starvation, in a world where starvation is the default state. But physical adaptations tell only part of the story. The true strangeness of deep-sea life reveals itself in how these creatures sense their world. At the surface, fish rely heavily on vision, color, movement. In the abyss, vision becomes almost worthless, or rather, it transforms into something completely different. Many deep-sea fish have evolved enormous eyes, far larger than any surface fish relative to body size. The giant squid possesses the largest eyes in the animal kingdom, each eye the size of a basketball, designed to detect the faintest traces of bioluminescence in the darkness. But these eyes are not eyes as we understand them. They do not see color, detail, or sharpness. They see only light and darkness, movement and stillness, the barest suggestion that something else exists in the void. Others have abandoned vision entirely. The tripod fish, which lives at depths exceeding 6,000 meters, has evolved elongated fins that act as stilts, allowing it to stand on the ocean floor and face into the current. It has no need for eyes. Instead, it relies on mechanoreception, detecting vibrations in the water through specialized sensory cells. It does not see prey approach. It feels the water move, senses the displacement, and strikes blindly into the darkness with frightening accuracy. And then there is bioluminescence, perhaps the most alien adaptation of all. More than 90% of deep-sea creatures can produce light through chemical reactions within their bodies, but they do not use this light the way we use flashlights. Light in the abyss is communication, disguise, weaponry, and deception all at once. The cookie-cutter shark produces bioluminescent light across its entire underside except for a dark patch near its fins, creating the illusion of a much smaller fish when viewed from below. Predators approaching what they believe to be easy prey suddenly find themselves attacked by a shark that takes circular bites of flesh from their bodies before disappearing back into the darkness. The hatchet